You want answers?
I think I'm entitled to.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Pow, right out the gate, folks. The decision has been made, and as usual, you and I, we're just little people. We don't get to hear about it till later. And then, and only then, if you know what is being planned, and if you follow it the way we do, then you get to see the future. So I titled this, The Decision, More SHTF. I wanted to say The Decision, Severe SHTF. But I'm trying not to be overly dramatic. I'm not trying to be overtly hyperbolic. I'm trying to just get the information out there. This is not going to end easily, nor will it be painless. It's going to be severely painful. Now, let's get into what we're looking at. The United Kingdom, England. Who the hell is England? Now, I do love my English compatriots across the pond, but I'm talking about the English government. Who the hell are they? It's a small island, right? It's a small country. GDP, production, everything. It's just a small place. Who are they? But the United Kingdom is backing the rights of Ukraine to launch attacks into Russia. And folks, instantly the Kremlin, that would be Putin, warns London of, hey, a proportional response. I'm going to read one of the statements here, and we're just going to look into this, right? This is the British Ministry of Defense a-hole. He says, Ukraine is targeting what I would say are completely legitimate targets to disrupt Russian logistics supplies, and they make those choices just as the Russians make choices to indiscriminately bomb Ukrainian towns and cities, right? At this point, I'm saying, why should this proxy toad, this mouthpiece, why even lie at this point? Folks, escalation has happened. It's going to happen. They're pushing it. By escalation, I mean the war between Ukraine and Russia. The United Kingdom, London, is now naked. They have nothing to stand behind. They're openly saying we want this war. The United States has done the same, the United States government. Okay. Why even lie? To say that Russia is making choices indiscriminately, as if they're just lighting shit off and it goes where it lands. Lie. Russia has been very discriminating in where it attacks, so as to not just indiscriminately hit towns and cities and civilian populations. As stated, I know for a fact that parts, materials, people are at work in Ukraine. They're in factories, they're in businesses, they're doing business, right? And they're trying to ship things out and get them out. If Russia was indiscriminately bombing things, folks, we would be hearing about it. This is just part of the word games and bullshit that these people play. Now, what does all of this mean? Right? What does all this mean? By the way, the epoxy toad I'm talking about is James Hapey, defense chief. And he does talk about the legitimacy of it. Okay. But then he became more provocative. He said that weapons that are being provided, quote, have the range to be used over the borders into Russia. And he says that is not necessarily a problem. Now, what have we seen? Well, we have seen Russia's big battleship, Russia's big surface cruiser hit, or rather it sunk. Russians say it was a munitions explosion. The West is saying, no, we hit it with 2 Ukrainian missiles. We've had 2 attacks on fuel depot, an attack on a space agency building. And so these are over the border. It would appear in hindsight that these attacks, right, or half of them or most of them, who knows, are coming from Ukraine, from within Ukraine. Now, the defense dude goes on. He says, Ukraine is targeting what I would say are completely legitimate targets to disrupt Russian logistics, supplies, and they make those choices, right? Yeah, logistics and supplies. So they have hit the fuel depot twice. Hitting the naval ship, I don't know. That's not really, it's not really a naval war to control Ukraine. But they have hit some buildings, right? So yeah, it appears that these are targeted attacks. I really believe they're more likely sabotage, but they're now saying, yeah, it's okay to do this. It's okay to escalate this. And this is Russia's response, folks. We would like to emphasize that London's direct provoking of the Kiev regime for such actions in the event that they are implemented will lead to an immediate and proportional response by Russia. Okay. Now, what does Russia have? At the very top, they've got nukes. You start coming down and you have ICBMs that can deliver all manner of weapons. Then you have their hypersonic missiles. You come down and you have their supersonic jets, fighter jets, stealth bombers, etc. They can, if they wish, pound the ever-loving shit out of Ukraine. So when they say an immediate and proportional response, they can. Now, is it tit for tat or is it tit for bam tat, right? What is the proportion that they're talking about, right? Now, if it was me and I was Putin for a day, this is what I would expect if I was in Ukraine for that same day. You drop one big bomb and the proportion you get back is exponential, 10 times. So for every bomb that goes over the border, it's going to be 10 times the destruction. Now, does Putin want to attack civilian targets? No, I don't think he does, because that makes him a war criminal. That makes him, a genocidal dictator. He doesn't want that, and he's been playing that game very carefully, very intelligently. So much so that European leaders refute the American military and ding dong Joe Biden when they claim that he's committing genocide. They're like, no, this doesn't mean genocide. Right? That's hyperbole, it's bullshit, it's lies, it's propaganda. But he could, and I see, why isn't he already just bombing the ever-loving shit out of Ukraine military supplies, supply lines, the military itself? Well, they are to a degree. At the same time, they're trying not to destroy the infrastructure of Ukraine. This is the problem with old-fashioned wars. When you get done, you've got to rebuild the whole country. That area is not, let me repeat that, after a war, a nation is not productive. It spends its energy cleaning up the mess. It spends its energy rebuilding the factories. It spends its energy for years and decades educating and re-educating its people to perform these tasks. It takes a long time after a serious war to recover. So Russia is trying not to do that to the Ukrainian people, its own people in Ukraine, what they like to call ethnic Russians. But the West, folks, is saying, no, fuck it. Go for it. Do it. Like, they don't want Voldemort Zelensky to resign or forfeit the war, aka surrender. They don't want that. They keep telling him, dude, do it. Keep fighting, keep fighting. And now the decision has been made, folks. Severe SHTF. Now, what I mean by this is How do we know that? Well, we have this jackass in England saying more over-the-border attacks are totally legitimate. Yeah, they are. In a war, attacking the enemy, all is fair in love and war, right? Because if you don't win, you die. Well, the leadership does. So here we look at Ukraine. What other evidence do we have that they've said that's it, extreme, acute, disastrous, severe SHTF? Well, Germany flipped. As reported yesterday, Germany decided it's time to send our anti-aircraft tanks into Ukraine. Whereas before they're like, no, we need Russian fuel, we need Russian energy, we can't survive without it. The World Economic Forum globalists and their puppet politicians have made the decision, folks. Screw the people of Europe. Hardships are on. They're going to get all the Russian energy they can, as much as they can, while they try and create their own sources, create their own technology, whatever it is they think they're going to do, so they don't need that energy, they're going to do it. It's going to be what? Rationing, hardships. Oh, folks, that's called a depression. Meanwhile, inside Ukraine, the World Economic Forum, the globalists, and their puppet politicians, they're willing to sacrifice that entire nation in order to get this war, in order to push their great reset, in order to create the abominable Russian pariah and instigate this Cold War. And by the way, China is watching. And China is playing more games down by Taiwan. China is not done, folks. And China has essentially declared its decision, and that is it's going to be on the side of Russia. That's a big alliance. If you look at the map and how much dirt they own, Russia and China own a massive amount of territory. If you add their allies, Brazil in South America, is a huge food-producing, productive nation. India, that population there is almost as big as China. They have over half the world's population. And then other rare earth minerals mines of South Africa, they're part of the BRICS, the Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. The BRICS Union, right, also includes now Saudi Arabia. It's a lot of energy, it's a lot of oil, it's a lot of land, it's a lot of people. The decision, folks, it really is severe SHTF. My question to you is, are you prepared? Thank you for sponsoring and supporting this channel in every way that you have. We need to continue to do so, to watch, to look at what's happening so we can see what is coming. And what is coming is severe pain and suffering. Chance favors the prepared mind. Aren't you glad you are a prepper? Semper Fi. Godspeed. Get prepared.